Welcome to the first episode of the Next Gen Collective. My name is Shayla Lockhurst. I am the manager of member relations at the Aurora Chamber of Commerce. So let's get into it. So I'm so excited. You're my first guest. You truly represent what this podcast is going to be all about: building, learning, growing, all under the ripe age of 40. Myles started his first business in high school and landed a deal on Dragon's Den before most people know what they're going to do with their lives. Since then, you've launched and scaled multiple companies, sold hundreds of thousands of units, and experienced both highs of growth and the hard lessons that come with entrepreneurship. After navigating setbacks, especially during the pandemic, you took a step back to figure out where your true passions lied. This led to co-founding Neighbour Media, a modern local media company spotlighting the positive stories of people and businesses right here in our community. You bring real experience, resilience, and perspective, and that's exactly why you are the perfect first guest. So, Myles, welcome to the podcast.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the great intro.
Thanks. Do you want to go over a little bit about your journey? Just do a quick little intro on yourself.
Yeah, when you say started the first business at 18 before anyone knew what they wanted to do with their career, I'm thinking when you say that, like, I had zero idea what I was doing after high school. It felt like everyone around me, they at least knew, like, oh, I'm going to go to this university or this college, I'm going to study this, to then jump into this career, and they felt like everyone had it figured out except for me. And it was kind of a lost period for me, honestly. But luckily, kind of discovered the world of business kind of through that first product, which was the original hockey lace belt. And I was partnered with my uncle on that. And to see it go from idea to a real product to selling in stores and collecting that first royalty check, and like feeling that energy of going from idea to something real, and like going through the first process of it, I wasn't even thinking like, oh, this is a business, or like, I want to do business. But as soon as I got a taste for it, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. It kind of had this same feeling of sports, really. And all through high school, all I wanted to do was play sports. So that was kind of the introduction into it. Then we were lucky enough to go audition for Dragon's Den and go on the show and got a deal. And that was a great experience. But kind of through that process, I was kind of told, like, Myles, there's nothing for you to do in this business. Like, the reality of it is we created a product, and then we made some deals where they were doing everything and you just collected a royalty, which was great. But as I kind of found this love for business, I wanted to get more and more involved. And the advice was, you don't know anything about business, go learn how to do business. So I went to St. Lawrence College for business marketing. And even in that first semester, I was like, oh my God, I'm back in the classroom. This sucks. And that Christmas of first semester is when the episode Dragon's Den aired. Then I went back and I was like, okay, I've learned business. I've done 4 months of it. And what could I do? Kind of pushed to the side again. So the lace belt kind of fizzled out for me the back half of that year. And through that summer, I was like, okay, I can't just be in school learning about business. I really need to be doing it at the same time. So then the idea for the second product, or the second business, the real business, was summer skates, which was a flip-flop with hockey laces. And then when I went into year 2, I was like, okay, I was having like the college experience, living on my own and going out like 4 times a week, which was a blast. And then, learning business, which I immediately went to like sales and marketing. Loved that. Everything else could kick rocks, HR, accounting, whatever else they taught us that I skipped. But then I was actually doing it, right? So I was finding a manufacturer off of Alibaba, probably spent 3 or 4 months doing that. Sent them my prototype, which was embarrassing, but it made it real, right? So then found a manufacturer and ended up selling what would be 50% of the company to get the money for the first order of 3,000 pairs. Got 3,000 pairs in and sold those in between years 2 and 3 through that summer. And really it was like, okay, we got the product. It's in my room in my parents' house in the basement. So it's just like stacked of boxes, like where I was sleeping. And then I spent every day messaging people on Facebook, friends and family, and driving around in my old 99 Dodge Dakota, selling them, delivering them $20 at a time. Then I built a website, started selling them online. Then I sold to a couple local retailers and got towards the end of the summer and essentially sold 2,700 pairs out of the 3,000. And I had met a guy, or he had gotten a pair and he had reached out to me, had a meeting with him. He's like, love the product. I think we could turn this into something big. I said, yeah, let's partner up. So that was Kevin Hennessy. So did that. He went and got money invested into the company and a new manufacturer while I went into my last year at school. And then we launched the real summer skates as I was finishing up school. And then that was like the real business journey from there. So then for the next 6.5 years, me and Kev built that business up and built it up into a pretty big business, worked with the NHLPA license, built a big e-commerce side of it, wholesale side of it, retail side of it, customization, like everything, like the full stack of it. Facebook ads, Instagram was an emerging platform, building a community on that. Snapchat ads. I was so early on Snapchat ads. Like I was running like filter ads around NHL stadiums while hockey games were going on for like probably 6 weeks before then they blocked it off where you couldn't do that anymore because they realized for $50 you could get in front of, 20,000 people that were all at a hockey game on Snapchat. Email marketing and just the whole range of it. Going to trade shows and learning how to sell on the floor. And like that was the real experience of it. And then, just watch that grow bigger and bigger and build a whole team around it and just so many ups and downs. And then I had the itch to do another product. I was like, okay, everything that I just learned over these few years at that time, maybe 4 or 5. So then I did a oversized golf ball to be a putting training aid, launched that with a Kickstarter. So I crowdfunded the first order, did $20,000 in sales in 30 days. And then Dragon's Den reached out to me to go back on the show and pitch that product, which, funny side note is, I literally manifested that because the very first episode, I didn't say a word the way that they cut it up. And when I watched the episode, I'm like, I'm going back on that show. I have no idea what. And,
I love that.
And did all the summer skates, didn't go on it for that. And then this product, and they reached out to me. So did that. Then I had a little consulting company called Umbrella, which was helping people leverage the internet to drive business results because I knew how long physical products took to kind of get built up. And then 2020 was going to be the big change year where I was going to leave day-to-day summer skates, do the big ball and do Umbrella. And this was going to be the next chapter of my business career. And then the pandemic happened and everything went to shit. And then in 2021, kind of rebuilt what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do it with. And then 2022 is then kind of the next phase, which is then Neighbour Media came into the picture. So that's the
love that
15 years in 5 minutes.
Awesome. So do you think that there was pressure over the years to replicate your success?
Yeah, like
more immediately.
I don't think so because one, I was just like so young and everything was so new and there wasn't really any benchmarks really. Like
we're just doing it for fun.
Just doing it, like one foot in front of the other and learning as we go. I've probably, and as well too, like all out external pressure is a bunch of bullshit anyways. Like, but when you're in your 20s, it's all external.
Yeah.
Like you're constantly looking outwards and thinking everyone cares about what you're doing, but really they don't. I think as summer skates kind of got going and kind of an ego got built attached to it. I never like was front facing like a ego, but I think internally I was like, oh, like I'm the man. Like I got like everything is working. So maybe some internal pressure of like the next thing's got to be bigger. The next thing's got to be bigger. But I had no idea what any of that meant at 25, 26, 27. So to answer your question, I don't think there was. Maybe there was some internal dialogue of it, but overall, no. Everything was so new and like people are just like, wow, look at it continue to grow.
Well, my next question was, do you think your age worked for you or against you? You kind of touched on it that Kevin
Yeah.
was kind of being like, go back to school.
No, that was my uncle.
Oh, that was your uncle.
Yeah. Kevin gave me like the full runway to go and build and grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think the age had a positive and a benefit to it. When it was like 23 and 24, it was like, wow, like when summer skates was starting to take off, it was like, wow, look at this company and you're so young.
Mm-hmm.
But then as well, too, I was like 23, 24, I was selling to like 50 and 60-year-old men in the US that were like team dealers, right? And they were like, you know, you're just a little kid, like get the hell out of here. So I think it had a balance of both of it. But I didn't care or think about it at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're going this
You
way.
had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So for someone under 40 sitting on an idea right now, do you think there is a risk to starting too early?
No, start it immediately. Like I meet with a lot of people with different businesses or business ideas. And a common thread is they, one, aren't starting or aren't like actually doing the thing for whatever reason. It's really like just a fear.
Mm-hmm.
They want it to be like perfect, but really, I say like perfectionism is procrastination in disguise, right? Like you're just putting it off where really it's just like make the thing and then make it better, right? Like the very first version of summer skates like is a joke, but I sold 2,700 of them, right?
Yeah.
And then turned into the better product, which has sold 500,000 plus of them, right? But if it was like, oh no, this product isn't good enough and just kept trying to sit on and push it down the road,
Mm-hmm.
You don't get anywhere, right? And you're only going to learn by doing, right? Like the actual experience of doing is how you're going to improve. You need to put in the reps of it. So I would say, no, you're not too young. Like you should start immediately, whatever it is, right? Because you're going to learn through the process of it. You know, even if it's like not going to turn into like this grand vision of what you have, like going through the process of turning ideas into reality in whatever shape or form is going to be beneficial. So just do the thing.
Do the thing. I love that quote. Perfection is hidden procrastination.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I see it so often.
Yeah.
And everyone wants like systems in place and automations and, you know, the thing to be perfect and look great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're just lying to yourself. Just you're avoiding the work that you actually need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I always call this is like the real shit happens when you execute the boring work, right? This is like, and I've come fault of this too, where it's like you have an idea for something, right? And there's so much excitement and like you like telling people about the idea is going to give you this dopamine fix and like make you feel like it's real, even though it's not. Then you're going to go out and launch, hopefully. And then you're going to have like friends and family and early customers, right? Which is also very exciting too, right? And then it's going to go like this, where the actual work comes in, like the actual grind, like this is the valley of death. And that's where like you actually have to execute because that's where all the real magic is. That's why like years 1 and 2 are so hard for business. But
So founding multiple companies over the years, do you feel like you have something to live up to now or higher expectations?
yeah, not anymore, but probably like my whole identity was like wrapped up into being the summer skates guy or Dragon's Den guy. But that was just like you're 25, 26, 27, 28, right? And you're out and about and they're like, this guy's on Dragon's Den. It's like, yeah, I was, right? Or like, this guy's built summer skates and this. And you kind of wrap your whole identity up into that. And in that moment, it feels like you need to always be progressing that way. But again, that's like, you're judging your stuff off of external opinions, which aren't even real. Like they're really not real. But the pandemic kind of forced me to reset really and really go internally, which was a huge kind of shift for me mentally and my whole perspective on business and life. So I don't have that feeling anymore because you're killing it. No one really cares. You're not doing shit. No one really cares. Just do your thing. Like, that's the truth of it.
So how has growth changed your lifestyle, your relationships, your priorities over the years?
I've recognized that I personally always need growth, right? Like, I always need pursuit of growth. I think everyone needs growth. This is kind of like out there, but life in perspective is continuously expanding, right? And you need to kind of grow with it as it continues on, as your perspective grows through. I just like to have some, this kind of gets into like the manifestation belief of it, where it's like, I like to set a goal or vision for myself, make a plan or a strategy, then go out on the mission and execute the actual work, then celebrate or measure progress along the way, celebrate milestones along the way, and then rest, reflect, and repeat. And I do that like cycle in all areas of my life, health, life, and work. And I do that on small goals and big goals and life goals, right? And this is just kind of a life philosophy that I've kind of developed. But I like to have kind of this pursuit forward too, and always trying to be the best version of myself, whatever that is I decide to be, right? Mm-hmm. And that goes and changes over time, depending on what's going on in your life, right? Like, I just had I got married, that changes a little bit. I had my first kid, that had a little bit, right? Different eras, different seasons in your life are going to call for different things, but I'm always in the pursuit of life mastery.
Yeah. I like that you celebrate all the milestones. It's good to celebrate the small wins and the big wins.
Yeah, that's something that I added in there because there's no real end goal, because you're always going to like move the goalposts or create new ones, right? But you want to have celebrations along the way too, right? Like, you want to, like, you set the goal or vision, right? And you've made the plan and you're executing the work of it, right? And you want to like have little check marks along the way. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I added in maybe in the last couple of years.
Good for you. So what part of scaling a business do people under 40 not talk about enough?
I also think like whatever scaling a business can be contextual to the person and what it is they want to achieve, right? Like, especially now with all the tools that are out there, right? Like, it's really defining what it is that you want first. Every level of business is going to have different things, right? Like, you can get to like $1 million in revenue with like 3 people, right? And you could also build that same $1 million revenue business and have no profit, right? There's just like all these different elements of it. So I have a tough time answering that, just because it's so contextual depending on who the business person is, what industry they're in, what they want from it, right? Like, I think of people that are in the group, right? That like real estate and insurance and financial advisors kind of in those areas too. Like, what does scaling look like for them, right? Is it building a big book of business? Is it building a team, right? Is it building their own brand? For myself personally, kind of in this new era, which I knew kind of like from age 30 to 40, I'm like, okay, this is where I need to learn how to build team, right? Like, a lot of the business before, it was like small, like partners, and then just like willing it to like as much as you possibly can, like, but you're doing every single element of it. Where now, I know that this next phase is like kind of building team and company culture and like actually building like a company, right? And that's kind of what's different, which is what we're trying to do at Neighbour Media now.
Yeah, Neighbour's like a little family.
Yeah, and growing quickly.
Yes. So when a business goes to zero, what does that actually feel like behind the scenes? Because you said you kind of went through that during COVID.
Yeah, it was the big ball. I feel like it's gone to zero a couple times. Right, like, so the big ball, I had a first manufacturer and I got samples approved, used those to do the Kickstarter, and then went on Dragon's Den and pitched. And while I was pitching in April, and I was supposed to get the new the 5,000 balls that I ordered from the supplier like in January. Didn't get them. Then they were on Chinese New Year. Then it was like March. And I'm like, okay, I need these. Like I'm about to go pitch on national television. And then they sent me 800 out of the 5,000 and they were all shit. They were all horrible. They were nothing like the samples I approved. Then I went into this huge dispute with them and I lost a bunch of money. And I was reckless with money at that time. I had sold some summer skates equity too. So I was like pretty liquid. And I was like, oh, I'll turn this into this, like no problem, right? This is like that ignorance at that time. So I lost a bunch of money there. And so then I lost a bunch of money, didn't have a manufacturer. So then I went to another manufacturer, a broker in the US, went through the whole process with him again, got 5,000 balls in, and most of them were good. So it kind of started selling those. This was in 2019. And then I was getting ready to make that switch in 2020. So I had a 10,000 ball order ready to be placed in January 2020. But then his business got messed up because of the pandemic. Like he had a big deal with the Tokyo Olympics. That didn't happen. And then he just ghosted me.
Oh, God.
So then that was second manufacturer. And then that one went to zero too. And that was a low point. That was, because also it was like pandemic 2020 to 2022, right? There was a lot of time to be with yourself. And I don't know, what's the question? What's that feel like?
Yeah. What does that feel like behind the scenes? Maybe like mentally?
It sucked. And it was also like, am I going to do this again? Am I going to go take like another crack at it again? Like, but I was like, it's such a good product and there's so many people to sell it to. But that really, it sucked. It really, and that was really like, also too, like before that, like it was like, okay, did the lace belt thing, like wasn't a lot of work on my part, but successful, right? Went on Dragon's Den, did this, sold a bunch of units, then went and did summer skates, brought 3,000 pairs in, met Kevin. Then we're doing all this thing and it's like a huge run of like, now we're, selling tens of thousands of product every single year, riding up. And then it was like the big ball successful Kickstarter. And then it was Dragon's Den back on it. So like that whole run was like, everything works.
Yeah.
And then it was like, nothing is working. And I'm getting kicked in the teeth, left, right, and center. And
yeah, it kind of goes into my next question. I was going to say, did you, those early on quick wins make those later failures a little bit?
Yeah, they were shocking.
Harder.
They were shocking because I was like, what do you mean there's setbacks in this thing, right? Like, it's so funny, like looking back on it, like how naive I was, but the effect was shocking. Like, just because there were so many wins like leading up to it. And it just felt like I was just on this huge momentum run and there was no reason for me to believe that it was going to stop because it had been 7 years of that. But in hindsight, like was such a perfect time for it all. And it really forced me to kind of sit back and think about businesses, building businesses, what I like, what I don't like, what am I good at, what am I bad at, what do I want to kind of like work on for, I had this for the rest of my life. Like I knew I wanted to build businesses forever, but like what did that look like for me?
Yeah.
And just having that kind of reset was a good, and 2021 ended up being like the real defining year where I like really went internal to think about all these kind of big questions. And I turned 30 that summer. And then me and Elisa had been dating for 10 years. So, and then I got engaged. And I was like, okay, now I got, this is like the beginning of forever. This is kind of like my mentality of it. Then going into 2022. And then we got a huge kick in the teeth right before it. Like, so I was like, okay, this big reset, like, I had like everything lined up. This is like a story that isn't that known. Like Elisa worked for Snap, the newspaper. And I was consulting for them kind of in that 2021 era. And then I was like working on this kind of big partnership for them to be like, how do we kind of leverage the internet on top of the paper stuff? And did this deal, which I thought it was the deal, and that's September, right? So it was like guaranteed money and, upside based off performance, all these things. But it was like at a time when I was like really hurting financially too. So I was like, it's a security thing for me to kind of rebuild this next era. This was also a big step for me because I was like, I'm not going to build something from scratch. I'm going to like partner up with a company.
Yeah.
But because it had like the guaranteed money and all this attached to it. But then and then September when I got the engagement ring. And then didn't get paid in October, November, December.
Oh my.
And then in January, that business went out of business. And Elisa worked for that business. So like everything that I worked that 2021 year for went to zero. And now Elisa, who had always had the stable job in our relationship, also didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And we were getting married that year. So that was January 2022. And that's when you watched The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
When he says like, and that just flipped the switch to me. And I was like, fuck it. That was me, like January 2022. And then I went on an absolute rampage. Spun up Umbrella again, started doing consulting. Then Lynette came to us and was like, let's launch Neighbour Media. Partnered up with Lynette, which was amazing. Launched Neighbour Media, launched a pool services business, did that, got new investment into the big ball that summer, and then went on this rip. So
circling back to that kind of reset time, is there tips that you can give people? Like, how did you mentally, physically, all the things reset?
Yeah.
Kind of refocus.
Yeah. It was like a combination of things. One, it was like a forced reset because of just what was going on, which was probably good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little too much drinking at the early stages of that. Like, let's have wine at lunchtime.
I think we were all in that same boat.
But then it switched to, I had been flirting with like meditation, like probably 2018, 2019, but like maybe do 3 days in a row and then whatever, skip off it for a couple months and then come back to it. Not really consistently. Then I got like deep into it. I was like, I haven't thought about this for a while. It was like prison time almost, like I was doing like prison workouts, right? Like 100 burpees, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, like 100 sit-ups, 100 like shoulder presses, like I had it all like sectioned out of my day, like organizing my day. I started running again, was running like 5 kilometers a day. And then I was getting deep into this meditation. But when I kind of got consistent with the meditation, like some crazy, and shit happened, which looking back was, this sounds crazy, but I honestly believe I shut off almost all my emotions for most of my life for, we'll call it like early childhood years and then into like your 20s. But like, I think I was like, I numbed myself to a lot of things. Then meditation kind of opened it up, which then it was like, here, you want to feel everything, which then led to some anxiety stuff. But whatever, we got past that eventually. What was the question?
Just like ways you reset. You're talking about it.
Yeah. I guess I could talk about now that I've had it in practice now for, 4 or 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reset is one, you need to give yourself time and space to kind of just think and clear out your thoughts. Sitting in silence is the best way to do that. It's absolute torture at the beginning, but like finding a way to sit in silence in whatever meditation practice for like 20 minutes, the first like week or so, it's going to be horrible because your mind is just going to be like this, but kind of bringing it down. As well, like regulating your nervous system is going to be another thing, which breath work and like yoga nidra, like non-sleep deep rest is going to be another element of like calming down your nervous system. Those and really good sleep. Like if you can combine those and then layer on exercise on top of that, which if you're in like reset mode, don't be like going to crush it, like just get your body moving. Like those are a really good reset, both mentally and physically, to give yourself time and space to kind of think about, where you're at. And then as well, like, where do you want to go? And then this goes into like, make a plan, create a vision, make a plan, go out and then restart and execute the work of it. But those elements, meditation, good sleep starts with good sleep, meditation, non-sleep deep rest or yoga nidra, movement.
Love all those. I for sure cannot meditate, but I'll go on walks and just not listen to music, anything.
No one can meditate though. This is what the thing is. Like that's like you saying I can't meditate.
I know.
Is
I'm
like
sure I
is
could.
being like that's just you need to do the practice more. Like you're never going to not have a thought, right? It's being aware of that thoughts just arise and fall, right?
Mm.
That's really like what the practice is. This is what mindfulness is, where it's like understanding that you are not your thoughts, really. When you're sitting down, this is why you just follow your breath, just to like, when a thought comes, instead of like grabbing onto it and following it and leading to another one and another one, you just return to breath, because it's like a centering thing.
Yeah.
And like everything, it's just practice. It's
I
just
need to practice more.
I've done like so many, and it's still torture, right?
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But now I'm on the breath work now, so that's way more fun.
I'm sure. I've done a couple of those. They're actually fun.
Yeah, this all 2025, the breath work has been big. This is when I was like talking about like too much stress on the body and like freaking out and like having anxiety and like not understanding like how stress, what stress does to you and like how it comes. The breath work has been the answer for that, and building like nervous system resiliency, and it's been a savior.
Good. So switching gears, you had a beautiful boy who just turned 1, right?
Yeah, December 1st. So he's like 14 months now.
Love that. How did having him change how you think about work?
About work?
Or did it not affect it at all?
It has had a huge effect on me, like, but I would say more than work. Well, I guess it kind of goes time. Time would probably be the big bucket of it. Like, time is so scarce, I guess. So, like, your unit of time and like what you're doing with it has been so much more aware, made me so much more aware of it, right? Which then leads into work, right? It's like, okay, let's say you have 8-9 hours of like working hours to deal with. This is also like built off a framework I've already built out before Grayson came, but I was like, okay, I need to sleep for 8 hours because that's good sleep. I've actually learned that I actually need like 9 hours, but it was always 8 hours. So then I have 16 waking hours to do what it is that I want to do when we go into the whole like kind of life philosophy thing. So like how you break up those 16 hours, right? Is it 2 hours, 3 hours for like health, right? Not all at once, but like throughout the day, right? And then is there, 10 hours of work there, and then there's 3 hours of, call it life, relationships over there. And I had it all like kind of split out into those. And even being aware of that though, like this shit could just pass by, like, and it wouldn't matter if like you burned like 3 days and all this. Then Grayson came, and then it was like everything got kind of condensed out too. And you're just trying to like pull the most out of every hour, really, while you're awake, right? You want to be spending time with him and be supportive there for Elisa too. And then as well, you want to, when you're at work, you got to make it count too, because you can't just like kick the can and then be like, oh, I'll go home tonight and I'll work for 3 hours. Like I'm on dad mode when I go home, right?
Yeah.
So that's had a big change of how I think about time and work.
What about success? You think it's affected how you look at success?
No, because I think I've like internalized my own success, right? Of kind of like becoming the best version of myself, right? And going back to that kind of growth side of it. But it has changed. Like my whole life, I was like on a pursuit of like, I just want to make my dad proud, right? Like I'm doing these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want my dad to be proud of me, right? But now that I have Grayson, I'm like, oh, I got this backwards. Like, I just want him to be proud of me, like Grayson to be proud of me, right? Yeah. So that has kind of like switched this kind of thing of like leading into how can I be the best version of myself so he is proud of me, right? Aww. So that's kind of been the switch.
Yeah, that's adorable. So Neighbour Media, why was positive local storytelling and support worth shifting your energy to from all these big businesses? You kind of touched on it when you talked about building a team and that.
I would say Lynette's responsible for kind of pulling me into kind of community and good news side of it. Like when I was coming to think about it, I was like, oh, what is the business opportunity here? I thought that there was a lot of white space and kind of hyper local marketing and media and what that could be. But since kind of, being 4 years into Neighbor Media and being more and more involved in the community and really seeing it too, like it's so obvious that the impact it's so needed. Like we now live in a world where we have all the world's news available at our fingertips at all time, right? And it's
Yeah.
constantly feeding into us. And unfortunately, all the worst shit is what kind of gets fed to us because I don't know, humans, we get attracted to like the bad stuff, right? This is why the headlines are bad. And this is what you're just like over inundated with, you know, the news that's for 8.5 billion people across the world, like in your pocket. And I'm not saying like we shouldn't be aware of it, but like we're in constant consumption of it where like that isn't what reality is like for individuals. If you think about like our community, right? Like I always say like your level of care should be yourself first. Like you got to be selfish first because, you're living life like it's a single player game that you get to play with others, right? So like if you don't feel good, right, it's not going to be enjoyable. So get yourself right, depending
Mhm.
on then it's like your family and your friends, like your close friends. Then it's your community, right? Then it's kind of like your region. Then it's your province. Then it's your country. And then it's the world. Like your level of like care,
Yeah.
as well as like your level of influence follows that too. If you go out and get into the community and go to events and stuff like this, you will see that it's not as dark as the world is trying to tell you, right? Like there's good people out there doing really good things that are trying to make a difference, and we just feel that it's our responsibility to highlight that and shine a light on that and let people, more and more people, aware of it. One, it's good to tell good news, and as well too, like when people see that, they want to get involved too, and they want to get out in the community, whether that's going to events or volunteering or whatever that may be. So it has become, for me personally, I know Lynette has always had this um, feeling towards kind of the community and that, but it's become more and more important of Neighbor Media and like showing good news, right?
Hmm.
It feels good to tell good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are kind of similar to the chamber in a way. You guys are doing all the media side of it. We do the networking events, like bringing all the businesses together and just providing that stable force for people to come together. So
Yeah.
I love it. And we want to be positive too.
Yeah, 100%. And I would encourage everyone, like, go out and get involved. It will change your life for the
Yeah.
best.
And that's definitely what I want out of this young entrepreneurs and professionals group as well. Positive vibes and fun monthly.
Yes.
Okay, last little thing. We're going to do a little full send fun. So quick, easy answers, no hesitation. So the first question, what's your favorite local food spot?
Because now, me and Elisa used to go for date nights all the time, but now we got Grayson, so it's a little tougher to get out there. We used to always go to locality in Aurora.
Mhm.
Love that spot. So I'll go with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that place. Do you prefer coffee meetups or Zoom calls?
Coffee meetups in person, always
Yeah.
belly to belly.
What's one skill to master before the age of 40? Or what are you trying to still master?
Life. I'm trying to master life. If I could pick one, sales, because sales cures all.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this, but would you rather take risks or play it safe?
Risks. Risk on always.
Okay, lastly, one word that describes this season of your life.
Growth.
Growth. Love that. Well, thank you for sitting down with me, Myles.
All right. Thank you for having me.